Thank you, Don. Appreciate those nice words. And, there is this very old saying, if you're going to make a presentation, make sure you are not the guy between the audience and the martini. And I happen to be that guy, but on top of that, coming after someone who analyzed the industry and has 10 new things that people are doing. Very, very challenging position here. But I could relate to the one of the Audi app. Now, my kids invented that not too long ago. So anyways, well, thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited to be part of this. And thank you, Terry, for everything you do for all of us. And what an amazing center. This is my first time here, but I'm just so impressed and the level of the talks and everything that we are experiencing here. So thank you for having me. So I wanted to really share some of my experiences. I call this little talk The Power of Strategy and Brand Transformation, because during all my years doing this, I think that I discovered in many of my experiences that brand transformation and strategy can really create tremendous value for companies, brands across the globe. And in my experience, this has been definitely the case. I'm going to spend some time just giving you some of my background. You heard a little bit from Don. And then talk about the power of strategy and brand transformation for Lucky Brand. So I'm going to talk about the business that we inherited, our key learnings during the 2 years that we have owned the brand, and then our strategy, how we really developed our strategy in the company. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but clearly I'm not from around here. I'm Argentinian. I was born and raised in Buenos Aires in Argentina. And I joined Pricewaterhouse right out of school. At the time, that was the thing to do. I thought that I was going to be there for only a couple of years just to train and learn about projects and so forth. And then that became a pretty long and a great career within Pricewaterhouse. I was there for about 7 years. And then they transferred me to the States. And initially, I was going to be here for only a couple of years, and here we are. I have a wife, Andrea. We have been married for 32 years, and that is how I convinced her to come. It was like, it's only a 2-year thing, and here we are. So I had just an amazing experience at Pricewaterhouse, and after that, I joined one of the firm's clients. At the time, you could do that, even if you were in audit. The company was the Bon-Ton store, so I spent about 8 years there. We took the company public, so it was my first really contact with the public company environment in the US. And it was an incredible experience for me, but I was still in the whole financial side, and general management was a dream of mine. I always wanted to run a company someday. So from Bon-Ton, I joined Melville, and here is where the power of brand transformation started. The first big project that I had to do was a project with about unleashing shareholder value. You may remember those terms. This is back in mid-90s. And what we needed to do was to really identify a way to really leave CVS on its own, so then CVS Drug and Pharmacy could participate in the big mergers and acquisitions world that everybody was anticipating. And frankly, that was great vision. And I was only part of the team, but that was a huge strategic move. And we were able to do that. At the time, Melville had 12 different divisions, billions of different businesses, and the analysts and the public investors didn't even want to bother owning the company because it was so difficult to really understand this big conglomerate. So leaving the company by itself was so key to the success and for CVS to be able to participate in that big consolidation process that took place in the industry. And boy, were they right. Because, when you think about what happened during those, 20 years now, CVS became a mega company just by acquiring and playing a key role in that consolidation. And after that, I joined Guess. And in Guess, I learned a lot about strategy as well. The Marciano brothers, whom I consider great friends, were very strategic from day one. And this was probably one of the first companies that really started shaping that idea that, hey, we can be in the wholesale business, but also there is an opportunity here to really expand the distribution through our own stores so we can really augment that experience with the consumer. Today, it feels like, well, everybody does that. But at the time, we would go to investor meetings and they will tell us, well, shouldn't you just get rid of the wholesale business? And this should be just a vertically integrated, retail company like The Gap or any of those. And we always saw this opportunity to be very synergistic, just having a big business in wholesale and a big business in retail were completely synergistic, and if anything, they were enriching the experience for the customer. And after that, I joined Restoration Hardware, and we did, I think, an incredible job redefining that brand. That was a brand that really had no significant clarity in the business model prior to the time when we started really changing the brand to be more a home style and a big furniture, accessories type of business. And we saw an opportunity there to really go into putting the customer at the center, go into different ideas of rooms of the home. And that's how we ended up really increasing the size of the company in a pretty significant way very quickly. So the company now is doing over $2 billion, and when I joined the company back in 2010, total sales were about $600 million. So it happened very quickly. So when I was presented with this opportunity to come to Lucky, it was a big opportunity to really go after that with a team that really was very, very committed, very young team. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But we felt that Lucky brand was always a great brand, very clean distribution, and a brand that had been around for almost 25 years at the time, but it had kind of lost some relevance. And we thought that we could do some things to really re-energize the power of the brand. And I'm going to take you through some of the things that we learned and how we took it to develop that strategy. I told you a little bit about Buenos Aires, married for 31 years. I have 5 kids, and I put this absolutely on purpose because when I talk about what I do and the power of strategy and everything that we do at work, I think that those that stay home or help us every single day, I think have a pretty significant part of that. So here's my family. My wife is Andrea right there, and we are a very fortunate family. We don't have much in the U.S., but this is what I have, and I'm very proud of it. Okay, so let me talk about the power of strategy. The company was founded in 1990, and these were 2 entrepreneurs with a very, very big dream, and they had some experience in the denim business. But at the time, fashion denim was not something that people were that familiar with. And these guys had an idea, and they went after that dream. And the company really took off very quickly. The brand became very cool in those days. And I hope that most of you would really be able to relate to the brand itself. At some point, they wanted to sell. They sold to Liz Claiborne, so then they could get significant funding, and the company then started growing. And then things went sideways in terms of management of the business. And so Kate Spade, which was the successor to the Liz Claiborne organization, decided to really dispose of all the different businesses that they had, and Lucky was the last one that they had, right after Juicy Couture. So we bought it in 2014. This was a big opportunity for me personally, and we did it with Leonard Green, which is a big private equity firm. And we took the first year and we said, okay, this is a year where we're going to learn. So we learned a lot about the customer, the culture of the company. We learned about the people, the team. We made significant changes. We learned about the product. We learned about the real estate. And we discovered a lot of things that were somewhat counterintuitive. And we learned about the brand, the elasticity, the range that the brand had. And then, based on all those learnings, we created a framework to really go after that whole strategic vision for the brand. And in 2015, we put a lot of those key strategic initiatives in play. And the idea was to really validate those. So we called that year the year of validation. So employee engagement was a big thing that we wanted to accomplish. Assortment expansion, we thought that there was a big opportunity to really expand the assortment and really expand the business, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Omnichannel, obviously, that is something that the company had not pursued prior to that moment. Every single channel was being run as an independent channel, and we saw an opportunity in that. We saw opportunity in real estate and really design a new concept store. Financial performance, and last but not least, because the company was part of a larger organization, we had to create our own infrastructure, and we had a very limited time to be able to do that. The business is well balanced. You can see wholesale represents about a third of the business. The specialty, these full price stores, represent another third, and the remaining is between an outlet business that has about 84 doors today. And we have an e-commerce business that is growing at a faster rate than the rest of the company, but represents almost 10% of the total business. One of the great things about this brand is that it really has been very successful in getting out of being just a denim brand and becoming more of an apparel lifestyle brand. And there are a lot of denim brands that try to make that claim, but not many that have done it to the extent that this brand has. We have 175 stores that are full price. We operate in over 1,000 doors. This is at the wholesale business, so we have retail partners with over 1,000 doors that carry our product. And in addition to that, we have specialty doors, about 375 of those. The other good thing about the balancing, every single channel really has a meaningful business except for international. And we see an opportunity for international that could grow over time. But the company last year did less than $600 million in total volume. But when you convert those sales, that is a mix of retail sales and wholesale sales, into what the customer pays, retail sales, that number is about double that. $1.147 billion was last year. We have a big licensing business as well, which is part of that. So when you look at the genders and the type of product that we sell, there's also significant balance. So you can see denim represents slightly over 40% of everything we sell. We like that category. We think that denim is here to stay and is a very strong category, and the margins can be very compelling for that business. But we also have a pretty significant presence in apparel and accessories outside that denim world, and this is true for both men and women. Now, the women business represents between 55 and 70%, depending on the channel that you're looking at, with the remaining being men's business. But we think that balance is an important part of the strategy that we selected to go. So how did we approach the transformation? We started with the customer. We said, we need to learn about the customer. How is the customer relating to the brand, and how do we make sure that we can capitalize on those things that are good for the customer, but those, and also look at things that we need to adjust to really get a better answer. With all those findings, we went into the product and we said, okay, just if we took all those learnings and put them into the product, what would we do with the product, with the line, with the type of product, with the assortment, and so forth. After that, we said, okay, how are we going to tell the story? Because the brand has been around for a long time. So now, it's very, it could be the customer just walks by a mall, they see the Lucky store, and they are expecting that things were the way they were, and this brand is not relevant to me anymore. So how do we really tell that story just to make a change in the perception of the brand? And last, and very significant one, we saw an opportunity to really integrate everything that we were doing through the different channels to really tell the story with one voice. And we called it here Customers Omni-Channel Experience and Stores Online. I'll tell you a little bit more about what that means. So I have 5 learnings that I'm going to share with you today. The first one, the brand has tremendous awareness, range, and elasticity. This was a big surprise to us. The Lucky brand, the awareness level among women is about 77%. Among men, that number, and this is aided awareness, that number is 58%. Now, when you think about the size of our company, $600 million company, and you compare to some of the other brands that have that type of awareness level, we think that we are in a very good place. Because, just now it will be more, the challenge will be more to re-energize that brand to become more relevant, as opposed to trying to really convince everybody that there is a brand and this is what we do. So we were very excited to learn about this. The brand has always been founded and grounded on 4 pillars. Music, rock and roll is the first one. The second one is Southern California lifestyle, very casual living. The third one is about moto, and that whole rebel leather jackets and so forth. And the fourth one is about vintage Americana. And we see this to be amazing, because these are all pillars that were very relevant back then when the brand started, but they are as relevant today. And they cross generations. If you take my kids, I see that they have, tremendous interest in most of these pillars, as we do as a generation. And also, these pillars are relevant on a multicultural level as well. If you go to Europe, people just enjoy auto racing and moto as a whole, world. Music, who doesn't like music? Vintage is definitely something that also has become much more relevant as we see. And who doesn't want to live in Southern California? Of course I had to say that. So the second big learning is about the customer. So the customer, what we learned is the customer has significant disposable income, is extremely loyal to the brand, and embraces Lucky brand for other occasions. Let me tell you a little bit of what that means. So this customer, 57% of them have incomes of over $80,000. Now, of course, if you're talking about New York City, $80,000 doesn't take you that far. But when you think about, the entire country, and the distribution that we have really does touch the entire country, that type of income levels is very, very compelling. About 79% of the customer base, they are 35 and older. And we saw that, initially was like a challenge. At the same time, we are seeing a big opportunity in this, because that customer is also very, very affluent, also very actively involved in multiple occasions. They are highly educated, and we see that they have a significant loyalty to the brand. So we put all that together, and we said, wow, this is a very big opportunity. Obviously, it's always easier to sell more to the customers that already voted and said, hey, I'm loyal to that brand, I like it, than trying to capture other customers that didn't express that kind of interest with the brand. So we did some customer research initially. This happened right after we acquired the company, and we asked a simple question. We said, okay, when you buy our products, do you wear these products for weekends? And the answers were, yeah, absolutely. 85%. Obviously, it's a casual brand, so very, very, the lifestyle is definitely going to be conducive for that type of occasion. But then we asked the second question, well, how about going out? And the numbers came down for both men and women. And then he said, how about going to work? And the numbers came down further. Now, that wasn't that much of a surprise. But then we asked a second question. We said, well, if we made product for those other occasions, and even for casual wear, would you buy more from Lucky brand? And the answer for weekends was no. Basically, the numbers were exactly the same. Basically, the customer was saying, you know what, I am buying as much as I will buy from you. But then when we asked the question about going out and going to work, the answers went up significantly. We thought, wow, this is such a huge opportunity for us. So we embedded that type of knowledge into our strategy, and I'll get to that. Key learning number 3, multi-channel distribution is powerful, synergistic, and delivers high ROI. And you have a lot of numbers here, but basically we make money in every one of our channels. And we think that the key here is that the more we synergize between the different channels, the more money we can make in each and every one of those. Because most of the ideas and the initiatives that we are putting in place really work for every one of our channels. One good example is assortment expansion. The fourth learning is about the customer, where the customer was. We did a lot of research about where is that customer that looks like that, like I just mentioned. So the research suggests that there is an opportunity to nearly double Lucky Brand's distribution. As we expand, we must be very careful with where we go with the expansion, because we saw that stores that are located in Middle America, and the same thing is true for the rest of our channels. But Middle America is a much more profitable market for us than the coastal markets that we see. And the main reason for that is the occupancy costs are so prohibitive in the coastal states. So we use a company called Buxton. These people, they really analyze the entire census from the country. So, and they divided and segmented the entire population in 71 segments. So segment A01, for example, is American royalty. And these are people that live in suburbs, and they have very affluent, significant affluence and so forth. And then the next one is A02, and that is a different type of group. And this particular one, A03, has kids, and all these different attributes, have been completely, analyzed by segment. The great thing is that we have enough data to know where every one of these households are. So when you look at this chart, the green line that goes across shows the penetration of that particular segment in the particular trade area that we were looking at. Now, so for example, in the first one, A01, less than 2% of the households are A01s, you see, in the country, in the trade areas where we were looking. Now, the red line represents our customers as a percent of our total customer base and sales. So in our case, A01 represents almost 9% of our customer base. And every one of those cases, those segments where you have reds, those are what you would call the primary core customers for Lucky Brand. Now, this is another big learning for us, because we now know that we are dealing with those people that really have significant, very affluent, and a lot of disposable income, but also they have certain characteristics that are exactly what we think we can feed into with expanding the product line. When we look at the total, we saw that there is about 119 million households. That is all segments from A01 to S71. 119 million. Of those, the people that look like the red ones is about 37 million core customers, and we were servicing only 20 million of those, $20.8 million. So we see a big opportunity to go into a big expansion someday in distribution. I mentioned this before, but you can see the profitability for our four walls, in stores, in coastal markets, is about 900 basis points below what we see in the middle of the country. The fifth learning, and last one, is about how to really look at operational excellence. And what we saw, a little bit by necessity, because we know we needed to create an infrastructure and we didn't have the resources to do it. And we had an opportunity to really do this with third parties. And we were able to really optimize the use of our capital to create this new infrastructure. But more importantly, we were able to go into systems that are significantly more user-friendly, easier for millennials. And we did it very fast. We operate most of our systems in the cloud now. And the vendors are supporting and maintaining each of those applications. So every time that there is an upgrade, we don't have to even worry about this without incurring the cost of ownership that creating such an environment would represent. So we are very happy. We did it in about 18 months, the entire thing. That included distribution, including all the financial systems, reporting systems, our ERP system. We replaced the entire thing. The only thing that we kept was the POS application, but some of the brains we changed at the POS level as well. And we finished this last October. We also have a third-party provider that does distribution for us, and the great thing is that, being a small company, we could really flex up or down depending on needs in terms of capacity and variable cost. So how do we build the vision? We said, how are we going to win? This is what we inherited, which is that kind of like casual wear line that has, grounded on the 4 pillars. The product is primarily rooted in both denim and weekend wear. We always use a very traditional distribution network comprised of specialty outlet, wholesale, and e-commerce. Always use traditional marketing. I'll show you some in a second. And the business was always focused on a domestic business distribution. So where we are going, we want to become a billion-dollar company in 5 years. We want to align the aesthetic of the vision and the brand voice, which is a very hard thing to do in our business, but we think we're on the right track. We want to create a premium lifestyle brand that offers a full range of products that goes well beyond just the denim and the casual wear part of the line, without abandoning those core principles and the value of what the brand always stood for. We want to have larger showrooms that appropriately display the expanded product line, because part of the opportunity here is to really go after many other occasions. We want marketing that engages the customer in all touch points of his or her life. And this is challenging to do, but the idea is that we have done some work with eBay where we studied the customer life journey and understood that particular customer that looks like that, the 35-year-old maybe mom, just what does she do in the morning? Just checking her iPhone to really see what the weather is going to be like before she takes the kids to school. Well, we want to be there if that is a key touch point. So that's just an example of really becoming more engaged with her and him throughout her and his lifestyle. Expanded footprint to capture international demand. This is our team. Everything you see here, yellow, is either new people or new roles that the existing people in the team had. We took a very, very challenging line here to really eliminate layers. So we have a pretty, just a de-layered organization now. We took about 2 different layers since we took over. And we have a very young team. In the corporate group, which we have about 450 people, the average age is about 35. And people are just very, very excited about what we're doing and thinking about making a big impact in the world. Actually, 2 people that I'm going to single out here. One is King Ying Lee. She is our Chief Creative Officer. She came from Madewell, where she spent about 8 years. She had started this brand with Mickey Drexler and did a phenomenal job. And before that, she was part of the Abercrombie and Fitch team, and she had started Hollister with Michael Jeffries, and after that rule, you may remember this brand. So she has this entrepreneurial, just creative spirit to really build what we think we need to do here, which is really build a new brand in a way. And the next person is Matthew Fior. He's our Chief Merchandising Officer. He was heading just the wholesale business when I came in. I think that Matthew is a tremendous talent, and he has tremendous experience in denim, but also outside the denim world with Levi's. I think he started with Gap at some point. And Matthew and Ken work together in such a great way, and I think that is such a key thing about any time that you need to really create a new strategy or really execute on a new strategy. Just make sure that the team really works together in an incredible way. So how will we do it? We start with the product. This box represents that core business that I was referring to, the casual wear, the denim. On top, we see an opportunity to expand into other wearing occasions, wear to work, tailored clothing, whatever it is that really can be done for this brand. Increase the breadth and depth to dominate existing categories. We felt that we have a big opportunity here to really stand for what we believe in. If you're going to have sweaters, not to have a couple of sweaters, but to have an assortment of sweaters where the customer can really wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm looking for a sweater, I'm going to Lucky Brand. Introducing new categories, we see a big opportunity because of the range and elasticity of the brand to go into other categories. And then last but not least, we felt that we were almost too focused on certain prints and certain type of product. So then we didn't have a versatile line of products. So we are looking into developing a product that has broad appeal and versatility. So out of 10 women, we want 8 of them to like what we're doing as opposed to 2. So this is an exercise that we did. We just tried to put that family into this customer journey. And we said, okay, in this particular case, the family is, the woman is a 36-year-old. She's a restaurateur and entertainment host, and the man is a 40-year-old business tech analyst. They have 2 kids. They have a dog, and they live in that house. So what we did then was we tried and this is, the idea was to give our team, especially the design team and our merchants, the opportunity to think about what this meant. What is that we are shooting for? What are we trying to create? So we put these customers, this family, into different occasions that we were pursuing. So in this particular case, is everyday casual for her. What would she be wearing for that particular occasion? And all this product is not necessarily Lucky product, by the way, but it's like the aesthetic and respecting the DNA of the brand was key in developing this board. We did the same thing for him. So everyday casual for him. And then we looked at everyday work attire for her, and what would she be wearing for that type of occasion? And the same thing for him. And then we looked at a date night. What would they be wearing that really still preserves and supports the DNA of our brand? Special events, what would they be wearing? Weekend getaway, escape, concerts. I mean, I said that we really believe in music and the different pillars. Just what would they be wearing for that type of occasion? And then even going into different occasions like vacations or resort, or just athleisure. This would be our representation of athleisure. We have a line called Lucky Lotus for women, where we are just really again trying to think about that particular occasion, working out or just being just more comfortable, and then thinking about the home and how do we have a really wealth of prints and different fabrics that we use for apparel. Well, there's significant alignment with what we do in the home, and the taste levels are usually very consistent. And if someday we were into furniture, what would that look like? Leather has always been a key material for us. Or if we had a line of lighting. And this is working. This is just our e-commerce business. Last year our e-commerce business was up 40%, and it was primarily driven by the expansion of our assortment. We closed with about $58.5 million. Also, we are looking at working with our people in the field, in our own stores, to really help the customer to really look at the brand, not just for what it is in the four walls in the store, but what is behind us, what the extent, the comprehensiveness of the brand is something that we're trying to really drive through with our own team on the selling floor, and it's working. So when you look at what we call here e-stockroom, these are sales that are being booked by our team on the selling floor. That is about exclusives that they cannot see in the stores necessarily. And that business was non-existent when we took over. We did about $5.5 million of that business last year. So between the 2 years, we picked up $2.5 and $2.7 million. And this is also carrying to our partners, our retail partners. They are buying from a larger line. These are two examples for proprietary reasons. We cannot tell you who they are, but this retail.com partner A and partner B, they saw their businesses going from $9 million to $18 million, from $10.7 to $19.2 million in the same 2-year period, because they are selling a lot more of that enhanced, expanded line. So we are excited about that. We're doing the same thing with licensing. We just signed a few new licensees. One is doing outerwear. We have a big business with Vince Camuto, who does our shoes, and very successful business. And we have a lot others that are in the works. So the idea is to really continue to enhance and enrich the world of product that we are offering our customers. Then we looked at our stores and we said, okay, we need to really create a new environment to represent the brand in a more fulsome way. And we had an opportunity to open a new store. Our typical store is about 2,400 square feet. This one that I'm going to show you is about 5,700 square feet. It's called The Point. It's a small center, new center, was built near Manhattan Beach. And this is our store. It has about almost 60 feet of frontage, very, very different than anything that we have done in the past. And we took the opportunity to really create a completely new environment and redesign every aspect of the store, but yet being completely true to the DNA of the brand again. So we put that door, which is a vintage, kind of garage door that opens like that. It's really very cool. We gave denim a very central stage, and we put a couple of skylights, so there is a lot of natural light in the environment. We divided the store into different rooms, so then we could really celebrate each of those occasions, as I mentioned. This is the one for athleisure, for example, for men's. And then we created an area in the back that is kind of like celebrates the whole accessories area. So that what you see there with steel and glass is like a life-size jewelry box. And inside there we have shoes. We have some home products, and this was just a test, but actually is being embraced by the customer. This is the shoe area. We were celebrating the pillars. This is an art installation. That motorcycle is a vintage Triumph motorcycle, and every piece is hanging from the ceiling. Very cool. People now, they have areas to sit in. They have areas to even have a drink, if you can believe that. We don't charge, but that's a Scotch bar. And the idea here is that in many cases, because our customer is a family more than an individual. So in many cases, they will come together, and we want to give him or her, the opportunity to really just relax and have and enhance the shopping experience while they are there. And what we are seeing is conversion has shot up significantly in this location. We're also seeing that the time that they spend in the stores is significantly higher. We brought that is a sitting area that they're using. We brought some technology in. This is a company called We did this with Lian Fang. Lian Fang bought this company called Catalog. And the idea is that that application, we have, we tag every item in the store with an RFID tag. So then the system reads what is in for that particular tag, and you can see the image on the screen. That is a screen that is in the middle of the selling area. And then the system goes into the alternative products that you may want to be interested in if you are interested in that particular shirt in that case. So you can see the jeans and the pair of the belt and that piece of jewelry. We also have a similar type of installation in each of the fitting rooms. So if the person, the sales associate, is helping somebody, the person is inside the fitting room, there is a screen like that, smaller, but in each of the fitting rooms, the customer can really reserve one of those particular pieces that she wants in this particular size, and then the sales associate gets an email, or actually is a notice in his or her iPad. They can go get the product on that particular size and come and bring it to the customer. We did this in another store in Summerlin, which is in Nevada, in Vegas. We just opened that store too. And we are doing something similar with outlet stores as well. And we are seeing very similar type of behavior in the outlet stores. Regarding marketing, on the left is what we inherited. That was then. Now just picture this, right? We have the mom and the girl. They are coming to the store, and they see our marketing campaign, and they see that, this is the kind of things that I think can be very damaging too. So we decided to really paint a complete different picture and really cater to the family as opposed to whoever they were carrying to. Sorry. All right. We also changed the way we're spending money, spending a lot more money in digital and reducing the amount of money that is going to traditional advertising. I have to tell you, we were advertising in Elle magazine, 850 pages. I knew that we were there. It took me about 20 minutes to find us. Just that to give you an idea of how significant it was for us to have one page on that magazine. And I knew what I was looking for. So we are trying to go more into grassroots and really trying to really take advantage of the big opportunities that we have today with the new world, basically. I'm going to spend 2 minutes on this. I don't know if you have read this book, if you have heard this guy talk. Simon Sinek is his name. And he talks about starting with why. And this guy made such a big impact on me that I thought that I would share with you why. This isn't a TED Talk, so you could even see the video. It's just I think, very impactful. So he talks about typical companies. Most companies, they talk about what they do. And some of them also talk about how they do it, but very rarely companies talk about why they do what they do. And he insists that people really buy why you do what you do as opposed to what you do. The idea here is, just picture a typical company that is in the car business, and they say, well, we have the best, we are BMW, we have the best cars, the ultimate driving machine, and our cars are very fast, and they are super cool, and they look extremely nice compared to anybody else. We have the best cars. And that's kind of like the advertising, so it's uninspiring. He talks about Apple to be one of those companies that start exactly the opposite way. They start with a why. And their why is, we are Apple. We challenge the status quo. And the way we do that is making products that are beautifully designed, they are easy to use, and they are just the best that you can find in this market, something like that. But they start with, we challenge the status quo. So because they're telling you the why, then we are all much more open to really understand why we could buy a computer from Apple, or an iPod from Apple, or an iPad from Apple. So we don't resist that because we are thinking more, we share on the why. So for that, we spend quite a bit of time internally to really think hard about this concept for Lucky Brand. And this is what we came up with. And by the way, we really used the entire team to really think about this, including our field personnel, to really contribute their thoughts about, they knew what we were trying to accomplish. So this is Lucky Brand. Look good, feel good, do good, inspiring everyone to lead a lucky life. That's kind of like our why. Of course, we are in the business of making people look good. So just having a beautiful product is definitely going to be part of that. But, we believe that health is wealth. So, we're trying to really bring a lot of energy inside our company for people to really be careful the way they eat, the way they live, the way they exercise, what they do. And last but not least, we want to make a difference in this world. So there is a Lucky Foundation that we are re-energizing, and we are funding to really make things and do things that really are going to make this world a better place. And last but not least is we talk about the fact that we are all in control of making our own lucky life, that this is not just something that happens to us, but something that really we are in control of. So let me show you a little video, and with that, I'm ending, and your martini is right in front of you. All right. Can you play that video? No? Did I go too quickly here?
Somehow we've come to believe that luck is a random act of magic, a fantastic twist of fate that lands in the laps of a chosen few. But ask anyone who appears to be lucky and they'll tell you. People aren't born with luck. Luck doesn't just happen to you. You have to make it. Luck is the story of anyone who works hard to create a lucky life. It's the story of two guys who walked into a laundromat with a bag full of quarters, a sack of stones, a pile of jeans, and a bottle of bleach. They turned their pursuit of perfect American vintage denim and their uniquely irreverent voice into a symbol of living life on your own terms. Luck is made of ideas and strength of character. It's born of a refusal to accept no for an answer. Luck is what happens when you deny the impossible. It's made of blood, sweat, and tears, of imagination and enterprise, and by challenging the way things have always been done, in search of a better way. We believe that the truth about being lucky today is that luck has nothing to do with it. When you look good, feel good, and do good, you're living a lucky life. Lucky you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.